collaborate. Thanks, Noah. And we'd like it to be as collaborative as possible. So we're trying to admit as much people as we can at this point in time. So please, you are most definitely welcome. If you just wanted to pop in the chat where you're tuning in from today, that'd be really great. Hello, Mimi. Thank you for turning on your camera.
Hey,
I can see your beautiful baby, so thank you.
hey, Mimi.
If I could get everyone to kindly just pop in their name into the comment and just let us know where you're tuning in from. Something around, hi, my name is Nancy and I'm joining from Ipswich or Gold Coast of Brisbane. Just the state would be fine because I don't know all the suburbs and I don't think anyone here would know either. So if you could just pop in like your state, that'd be
Yeah,
really, really great. But yeah, I guess I'll just give it one more minute if that's fine by everyone. I would make a start. So that would give us a 10:04 starting point. But I'm going to catch you guys in the comments and see where people are tuning in from. Great. We've got Mimi from Queensland, Ipswich particularly. So thank you very kindly, Mimi, for doing that. Gania, it's really great to have you on board. Norma, Ayo, Tolu, Nancy. Odi, hopefully I haven't murdered your name. Odi, Janet, Rachel, thank you all so much for tuning in. And if you know anyone that may benefit from this session as well, please feel free to flick them the link and let them be a part of this conversation. But yes, to
yeah.
my promise, I did promise we were going to make a start now. So I guess I might as well keep to my promise if that's fine. Still looking forward to seeing more people telling me where they're tuning in from. It just helps us to know what a beautiful, diverse, community we've got. So please, if you could do that, that would be really, really amazing. Just pop in your
Yeah.
name where you're tuning in from. All right, great. I just want to really stick to my promise and start at 10:04, as we said. But just a quick introduction. We all know we're going to be dissecting or speaking to the very popular conversation in relation to how would immigrants even get on this journey of, entrepreneurship, business, etc. Like, what's the starting point for me? It's really difficult. I'm doing a lot of things right now. I absolutely have no clue what
Yeah.
I'm meant to be doing, to get my foot in the door. Look, we're going to be unpacking all of those today, and I've got the pleasure of myself. My name is Taya Oriowo, and I probably got the pleasantries of like going into like the deep introduction of myself, but I sit as a co-founder of Justin Solutions, which is this event is powered by Justin Solutions, to really give us that knowledge. But I guess the critical thing, and I'll get Noah to introduce himself very shortly, but I guess the critical thing for me here is, why should you listen to us? Like, what's that why for you? Like, why should you even connect to whatever it is we have to say to you? And I guess you probably have that question as well, like, okay, who is she? Like, who are they? Like, why do I listen to them? Look, it's not so much who I am or who we are. It's more around, the experience that we've been able to gather in this space. It's more around the work that we do, and also coming from someone who really understands potentially what might be going through your mind as an aspiring business owner or even like an existing business owner. But more to the point is, why should you listen? What's that thing? Today, I want you to leave this session feeling confident, feeling like, impossible is nothing. Everything looks so hard until you actually get it done. But for every single thing that seems hard, there's always a starting point. So today, I hope that you would leave this session feeling like you have some clarity as to what are some of the intricacies, like what are the key things that I need to keep in mind. Now, as a two-time founder, as an immigrant as well in this country, I've seen both worlds of like everything. I've seen a lot of things and still discovering a lot of things on this journey. And today's session was actually born out of, I wish someone had told me a lot of the things that I know today. Perhaps I could have done things differently. And I know that, the one of the biggest ways to learn is from mistakes. But I want to ensure that you make those mistakes at a very as minimal as possible. And where it is just the skill set gap, we can feel that. But you see, information is power. You only know as much as you know. So if you're not in a space where someone's providing that wealth of knowledge or providing things from the experience, it can be a little bit challenging. So yes, for us, one of the reasons you should listen to us today is also for people who had a dream and working on that journey, continuing to turn that dream into reality. As an example, we do run a net tech company here in Australia called Sync Skills. And at the time Sync Skills was going to start, there was a lot of conversations, there was a lot of dreams, there was a lot of mindsets, right? We support people to secure business analysis role. We support people. We sell the change to people where people would be able to kickstart their journey. People would be able to upskill. But that's not just the thing. It was born from we realized that there was a problem where a lot of people were very unsatisfied on their jobs as immigrants because they were faced with a lot of limitations. And that's a starting point for us to say, okay, perhaps if there was this structure in place, this is going to solve this particular problem. Like, every business starts with you having a solution to a problem that a couple of people face. And that's how you kind of need to shape the mindset. If what you're planning or what you have planned, it is not a problem, or it is not something that is looking for a solution, and that may not necessarily be viable for you to move on. So yes, we running that company itself comes with a lot of things that I would really love to share with you in this session today. And I really hope that you would be able to take one or two things on how you can shape your mindset and how you can really move to from ideation to actually planning, and you now starting to execute. Because from every idea, I don't at the core of what we do is I don't want immigrants to feel like an idea will just pop up in their minds and it would die for lack of knowledge or for lack of support or for lack of right resourcing. And because those things really matter, you can't delve into anything when you don't have the knowledge. So for us today is we would, you know, leave you with core things that hopefully would provide some clarity. But I'll hand over to Noah to do a quick intro of himself, and I'll move through to the agenda and we'll get started on what we have. But thank you all so much to all the people who have popped in their name in the comment. Really, really amazing. Thanks, Janet from NZ. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you for tuning in from New Zealand. It's actually really
Uh,
beautiful.
that's great. Thank you, Tyra. Thank you so very much, everyone, for taking time to actually come here to have this conversation. As Tyra said, for us, we will think about what is the one thing that we want you to take out from this session. And for me, the thing is really to say, when you're done with conversation today, you just want to start.
Right.
For us, our life is around making impact and really giving back. As somebody that currently have experience, running two companies here in Australia, um, beating all the barriers and bias that I can face in the system, I think that I am able to share the ongoing journey, the stress, the pain, the learnings, and some of the wins that we've actually, we have to share with you. And this is not about well, if I want to tell you how to start a business, I'm sure everybody can just Google that, right? Hey, how do I start a business in Australia as an immigrant? There will be so many blogs, so many courses, so many resources. But what we're going to be sharing with you is reality. The
Yeah.
things that you don't find on the internet or in books. And trust me, we read a lot. But so stay with us. My name is Noah, and I have a singular mission and purpose to give back, be impactful, and make sure that for me, Africans thrive and prosper. And my first company, which is Sing Skills, is about helping Africans who are passionate enough, they are sick and they really want a change in their current circumstance to be able to make that change. And we do that through tech education. So you may have seen my post everywhere about, if you want to explore a career as a business analyst, as a, no code tech role. And we were very specific about the problem is no code tech role, meaning you may not want technical things, you may not have IT experience. We don't want that to be a barrier for what is possible. And we've seen so many people implement our strategies and are now thriving here in Australia. But the interesting thing is that on that journey, right, which is still ongoing to building scene skills, there's a lot of learnings which we'll be sharing some of them. We can't share everything, right? We'll be sharing some critical learnings of actually what it means to run a business. It was scrappy. It's been scrappy. There are times where you don't know if you have a business the next day. But what I want you to take out of this is that whatever idea you have, you just need to start. That's how you really start a business. The first step is to start, right? And I know you may have heard that, but we want the things that we'll be sharing today to actually spur you to say, yeah, I'm just going to start and learn from that experience. And that's the biggest, lesson that you can take out from this session today. So yeah, I've gone and founded another company, which is Justin Solution, and we're pivoting to building solutions, to help the community. So you may have heard of Oloja Hub, which is one of our innovative products that we're also currently in the building phase, validating, and we want to be sure that this is actually solving a big enough problem. And part of it is why we're here today. I'll be sharing that strategy as we go along. So for us, it's about prosperity and making sure that Africans thrive and prosper in their career. I'm very glad that, a lot of people, I see familiar faces on the call, who are now thriving, as a result of that mission. And that is truly what gives you a sense of purpose. We always say we don't want people to trade their time for money. It is not scalable. It is the deep sense of purpose that you have, the calling that you have, that will really foster that journey to prosperity for you. And we're going to be sharing that. So I'll hand it over to Tara to kind of like walk us through the agenda before we get into it.
Amazing. Thank you, Noah, and thank you so much to everyone who has, tuned in today. I see more people tuning into the call. I've got Saint Fisayo, Ayobami. Oh, I've got King's Pen. Thank you so much. To all of you guys, Gladys, please, if you could just let us know where you're joining from in the comment section, that'd be really amazing. So just on the layer of what Noah said today, we would be really talking about the power of the mindset and what sort of mindset do you need to have as a aspiring business owner or even someone who has got an existing business and the different category that is available for you. And also more importantly, how to start. It's always the starting point. At the end of the day, we all know that the world progresses and evolves based on people discovering a problem and then trying to find a solution to it. So it's very important that on that journey, you go through the discovery. You never would learn everything at the beginning. You learn as you go, so you begin to deliver in iteration. So it's extremely important, and we're going to talk about this. It's a very popular saying: Africans don't like to do business with Africans. Why? And I would really, really love to hear everyone's view, on that line, because I think it's a very popular tagline. Oh, they're Africans now, I'm not going to do it with them. Oh, this person is, an African. I don't relate with Africans. A lot of people say that. I want to find out why. And then we're going to delve into like the different business models, which you would get into the details of the one you try and understand what you're thinking, what the problem is, and under which umbrella does that really sit. As well as we do have a guest speaker as well, which would be really amazing. I'm not sure he's here yet, but he will tune in at some point, and he'll be sharing. Oh, he is? Okay. Thank you so much. if you just give me a show of hands, I can see you say yes, he would be sharing his experience, as someone living in Australia who has gone through that journey as well. And of course, we'll be giving you a sneak peek of the 𝐂𝐻𝐍𝐶𝐓, which is a very central to what we're doing today. And for people who don't know 𝐂𝐻𝐍𝐶𝐓, very briefly, so 𝐂𝐻𝐍𝐶𝐓 comes to you as that, what do I call it? It's like a platform that really gives you that sense of hope, assurance that with business, even though there's a popular saying that 90% of businesses fail, within 6 to 12 months of being operational, 𝐂𝐻𝐍𝐶𝐓 gives you that sort of like that framework to say, look, we understand your challenges, we understand the problems. You're an immigrant, it's hard for you to get a store, you got, visa restrictions, etc. We want to create that central platform where you can market your product, but more than just market, you're pushing your product in the eyes of the people that can actually consume it. And on the top of that, you would also be getting the business education, because wisdom is profitable. Knowledge is important. Without knowledge, you can't really drive. And of course, we do have a win a voucher session, which I would talk about that. So please stay till the end. We do have gift for you guys. Of course, we can't pay you for your time, but yes, we do want to compensate that your Saturday morning that you would be, sharing with us. So let's delve into, the first crux, because again, everything starts from your mind. Look, the mind is so powerful. And one thing that I've come to realize is, one, if I decide that I want to do something and I don't see myself as someone who is capable of carrying out that particular thing, why do I expect someone else to see me as capable? It's, why? Because even I don't have that self-belief yet. So it's going to be really hard for other people to see the vision that you're going to that you want to sell to them. So for us, the very beginning is your mind, fixing that mindset. Oh, I want to start this business. Oh, I don't think I can do it. I have it in my mind, but I don't really think I have the skills. Yes, you can get skills. Like, you can learn things, you can read a lot of books. I think, I was saying the other time that yes, we read a lot of books. Yes, we do read a lot of books, right? So you need to connect to the why. Why am I doing this? And why is this thing so important to me? Because those things will really drive how much you're going to be able to believe in yourself. And of course, believing in yourself means I know that, yes, I don't have all the answers, but I know what I need to work to. I know on a high level what I'm working towards, and I will begin to make steps to achieve those things. Whether it is consulting with people who have, walked the path, whether it is reading, whether it is listening to podcasts, watching YouTube videos, you're going to start from somewhere. There's going to be that starting, but at least you have that self-assurance that this is for me. Even when I fail, I see that failure as a form of feedback, and I take it and use whatever feedback that I get to increase my knowledge. Right? So you can't successfully start a business when the first few things on your mind is, what if I fail? Well, what if you don't? If you fail, from failure, you take feedback, you take learnings. And from that learning, the feedback, you build knowledge. I know what they say, knowledge is power. And if you have knowledge, you got power. And that's also going to build your confidence. So it's always extremely important, but also more importantly, thinking about the whole, idea of business. What does that look like to you when you think about, oh, I want to start a business? Of course, now I have that self-belief that I can do this. I know what exactly that I need to be doing. Business is not much. It's not about, yes, I love this. Yes, you need to love what you do. It's part of it. But is that the only thing that business is all about? Because again, a lot of the things I would be unpacking start from, as a new to business person or as someone who already has got a business, when people think about my business, what do I want them? What do I want to cross their mind? Do I want mediocrity? Or do I want excellence? Or do I want, oh, that person, now don't try them. What do I want? And that comes to the fact that you are going to be providing value, right? So you know that, I said earlier, the world evolves, from people knowing that, oh, there is a gap in the market. Like when you think about Uber, for example, I was reading like what actually started Uber. Is someone thinking, oh, it's really hard to get taxi, to start to fly the bus at the same time. Why can't I just grab my phone and just stand without me thinking? Because when you're trying to catch the bus, right, and you're also trying to fly down the taxi, it's like you're doing multiple things at the same time. That person found a problem and they said, oh, how great would it be if there was just something that I could download on my phone, plunge where I'm at and where I'm going to, and the person just comes to me within 1 to 5 minutes. They're solving a problem. And a lot of people, even before Uber came, a lot of people probably didn't think that that was what we needed. But it came and it instantly like, oh yes, I always knew there was going to be a better way for me to get to my destination without having to struggle. Value and service to others. People always say that with entrepreneurship, it's you literally working 24 hours unpaid, and you're going to just, it's not, eventually when you work for people, like it's benchmarked. It's 8 to 4, 8 to 5, whatnot. I do my job, 5 o'clock, your money has expired, you go. Entrepreneurship, I mean, for you to build a successful business, that would require some sacrifice. And the big question is, are you actually ready? Again, so back to believing in yourself. Like, are you ready? And please, if you've got any comment and you want to be a part of why you want to start a business, please pop it in the comment section, so just so I can read and we can all learn from one another. If you're thinking, if you have that aspiration right now, please pop into this chat. Okay, this is why I'm thinking to start a business. Or these are some of the things that I'm struggling with, why I'm not in a position to believe in myself. I really want to hear from us. Like I said earlier, this is going to be very collaborative. So if you could let me know, why are you actually thinking to start a business, or if there are any concerns right now, let us know as well. I would really, really like to learn from every single one of us. Right. So it's not, I don't, you can see the glamour, like you can see, like, sometimes you speak to business owners and it's like, yay, they come out, because you don't know what's happening behind closed doors. But that's probably someone who hasn't had time to sleep and battling like 10 computers, and that's me exaggerating, but like lots of screens in front of them, trying to manage this, manage that, making a lot of decisions in 24 hours and still trying to stay sane. Right. So it's not only about, yeah, I'm gonna be my own boss, I'm gonna make all the rules. And that last part, to say earning pots of money, that is definitely not how a business starts. Like, money is not going to be the first thing that happens when that business starts. First is it just for me to, what do I want to provide to people? How do I want to stand out in this business? The value, tying back to the value, because again, if you don't understand what business really does entail, you won't be in a position to make the right decisions before you even get started at all. One, you're solving a problem, and two, you're going to be providing value. Again, remember, we don't want to be associated with, oh, those Africans people, you can't trust them because they only provide subpar service. No, we always want, what's the value for the people that would come to me for this? Very, very key. So it won't be you would have to work long hours that you probably won't be able to pay yourself. But again, once you remember the value that you want to provide, that keeps you pushing. You're rendering when they say servant leaders, you're rendering a service to people, and you're seeing people happy, you're seeing people smile. Like with Sync Skills as an example, something that started as an idea has really transformed a lot of people's lives. And sometimes I recall this, particular individual who, after he got the job, I actually sent 10% of his salary. And I recall we saw them, we're like, no, please, nah, it was all you. That was your hard work. You did that. Please don't send 10% of your salary. And he said, nah, I have to. I told myself when I was coming for this program, and this person had lots of skeptical, they were very skeptical about the process, again, because it's Africans, right? So they got the transformation that they wanted, they got the job, they then sent their 10%. And we said, nah, We can't accept that. And I said, please, you have to. It's the way that I can feel like genuinely. It's the smallest way for me to show appreciation for the amazing work that God was able to do through you guys. Ties back to value. So it is not just, yeah, I just want to do this so I make money. Value will bring you that money at the end of the day. But if the first thing on your mind is I just, I just want to make money, that's gonna be a bit difficult. Someone I just put some comment. Someone says starting a business because the 9 to 5 job is not enough for me financially, okay? But struggling to get the right balance between my job and owning a business. Thank you for sharing that, Mimi. So for you, is more around you want that, financial freedom and you want to increase your earning power, but you also are, but you're in that space of how do I combine this? And we will get to that. So you're in the formal and the informal business. People will still merge that with a lot of things. But yes, I like how you're forward thinking with that. So you need to believe in yourself as a starting point, and then you need to think about what's the problem. And we would also delve into how do you identify the problems that are available, and how do I provide a solution that solves that problem. I like to call myself as a magnet of problem, because you just need to look inwards and you would see a lot of things that you find very difficult today. And the business mindset is not, oh, this thing is hard. Oh God, maybe you fill lots of forms to carry out an activity. A business mindset is thinking, oh, okay, how can we streamline this? How can I create a solution that helps to solve people filling lots of forms, after they complete my training? How can I streamline that? I've been in situations where the other day I was talking to people. I said, what if we had a solution where before you apply to jobs, you can upload a video of yourself actually pitching yourself to the recruiters. So they're not just dealing with papers, they're not dealing with resume, but they're having a feel of my personality, who I am, and that can help them to make a good decision. Because I also do a lot of recruitment. Sometimes like I just reach people without sending it to my emails, because that will clog my emails. Let there be a platform. Upload your video, pitch yourself to me, and I go into the pool. I look at your resume as well. So you are a magnet of, think about things that you find difficult today, and think about how could we solve this. And of course, we'll delve into how you can involve other people as well to see if it's actually a big enough problem. So Tim, thank you. We're going to move into the next one. I'm going to get Noah to run us through the importance of timing. What are the key things that I need to keep in mind? Do I have forever to nurse this idea, or do I need to take action? Very important.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I think that was very powerful. Just to nail that business is about service. When you know that business is about service, the magic will begin to happen. Because the psychology of humans is when you give so much value, people want to give value back to you. They will just be indebted to you to give you so much value. And if you have that principle as somebody going into business, that I just want to provide service, provide value to the world, you will be amazed at how much value you will get back. Is good karma, they call it. And just diving into like when is the right time to actually say, yes, let me start a business? That is the billion-dollar question. Everybody, have that question. Like when, if you're not yet in business, you're thinking like, when is the right time, right? Because there's a lot of things. There's a famous quote that says that if real estate is about position, right? Location, and we have an expert there on the call as well, who will be sharing a bit about real estate and share that experience. But business is about timing. Why is that important? So whatever problem you want to solve, right? There's a time factor in there. For example, Tayo talked about Uber, right? And how that idea, somebody ideated that. And trust me, the idea of Uber is very simple. I mean, in your lives today, you might have that Uber type of idea that you just brush aside, like, this is not, nobody will pay for this. Nobody, like, what problem with this solve, right? Trust me, it's the small things that compound into big things.
Mhm.
Oh, there's a pain. How can I get from point A to point B easily with more convenience? And also create opportunities for others. Maybe at that time, that person was just say, how can I get from point A to point B, easily? But that idea has now gone up to be creating opportunity for drivers, um, for convenience for people that use that service, and other opportunities to advertise. You think about the things you can do in an app like Uber. But where the time factor comes in is that if you want to start an Uber now, you better be really clear about exactly what, like, we already have so much solution in that space,
Mm.
right? It will be tough. So if you have that idea at that time and you didn't execute, right, then you've lost. So timing is important. And that's why we say that what we want you to take out of this session, if you've not started, is to just start. You should find that courage to know, yeah, this is the framework I can follow and I can just get started on something. And I don't need to be perfect. I need to validate as you do a lot of validation. I'm always big on validation. But first, you would also be learning through this discussion on actually what type of business is right for what skills and experience do I have? Because again, when we talk about service, you want to provide service that solve problem. You can't provide service that does not, solve tangible problems for people. That is not a business. It's just an hobby. So the real business is in the service that servers that provide value, which we've talked about earlier. So you need to consider what skills do I have? Right? Is this business idea, right? Is it the right place, location, and time? Right? Even for me as a person, my personal circumstance, like I'm married, I have children, am I able, is this the right time for me? Some people, for example, and I think I saw that brilliant question. I have a job and I have a business. How do I find that balance? Right? So if you're single, for example, right, and you have some built up saving, maybe you say, well, damn that job I'm doing now that is taking that time and my focus away. Let me just go all in to validate this idea of this business and validate and conduct experiment till I land on something that I can really turn into a business and
Yeah.
commit to it and do everything to win. You may be able to take that risk as a single person that has no, you don't have a lot of commitment. But that same situation changes if you are married. There's so much bills, especially as an immigrant here, where you have so many, responsibilities, bills, and everything. The reality of it is you may not even have support in terms of finance, and you need money, you need financial muscle to actually be able to sustain a business. Because the execution, you can start a business, but the execution of the business is what makes all the difference if you're going to be successful or not. But the point here is that timing is important. Sometimes you just need to start because that's the best time. If you delay and procrastinate, there's danger in that. That idea may not be viable in the next 2, 3 years. But in the day of AI now, you see it all around. So many businesses will suffer because of AI in the next couple of years or months, even. So if you want to get something done, get it done because your family circumstance may change, your own personal circumstance may change. The idea or the value you'll be providing through that may change in the next couple of months, right? The business environment may change. So the key thing here for you to know is that timing is key. Have an idea, start working on validating it immediately. You need to just start.
What?
And we want to get out of this session today and make that commitment to yourself that I will start, even if it's just one part of the business, which is validation, right?
Absolutely.
You would get started. All right. So
Thank you.
like,
And team, I'm calling everyone a team because we're a team. So when we say start, start with you actually making that conscious step to start to speak to people. So it's not necessarily chunk your money and then go and buy like materials. No, starting is you saying, okay, I'm nursing this idea. Let me start to speak with people. Let me start to validate. Let me start to speak to mentors. Someone said in the comment, speak to people who have done it before. I also said that earlier. So speaking to people, trying to ask people today, and we'll get into the details of that. I'm thinking about this idea, just wanted to know, like, how do you currently do this today? Do you think this would work for you? Do you understand? And I will also delve into how to filter out information, because you could speak to someone and they may tell you, sorry, that's not going to work. And real life, for sync skills, someone actually told us, oh, it's not going to work. Africans don't need that. That's not their problem. Africans won't buy that. Africans won't even buy from you because you're an African. They probably don't trust you. People say that. We'll talk about how you can filter out those noises in the background. So please stay with us. Thank you so much for participating, and please pop in your questions and anything. We'll definitely try and address them, whether by responding or verbally address the questions. But also on the layer of what Noah said in terms of like the importance of time and the things that you need to do. It's also important to sort of like have an appreciation of the different business categories, of course. And I want to fully understand what's the strength, what's weaknesses, what are some of the what does the market look like, and what is the type of customer that I'm looking for? What strength do I have? And that would sort of like hopefully provide you some guidance as to, okay, where do I fit in? How do I fit into this puzzle? For you, it could be a lot of things that you've seen a lot of people, they've done it. You've seen the efficacy of that. For example, if you wanted to talk about, photography as an example, or videography, you probably know one or two people who currently do that. So that gives you a little bit of a, well, Noah's done that, or King Spen has done this. Yes, I definitely can take a lot of learnings from him. I can leverage some of the things that he has done. Those are your tried and trusted, they sit in that category. And of course, let me put this caveat. So we are, in no way providing like we're not in a position to provide you like any business advice or legal advice. This is solely for information that we're providing to you based on our experience and a lot of people that we have spoken with, right? So secondly, if you wanted to delve into things that are a little bit niche, so that you really working in that specialized area. For example, an example of a niche business is sync skills, for example, right? So it's very much focused on like Africans in this country, and it's really us trying to divulge things from our knowledge and passing it on to people. So it's like for a specialized group of people. Again, knowing my type of customers, I know that probably an Australian probably isn't necessarily my first aim of customer when I think about like the business model and the vision for the business. Again, creating that's a niche business, so it's for a certain type of people. And you would hear people say things like, oh, when you're in a niche business, it can be really hard because you don't have that big pool to draw from. Yes, it's hard. Whether or not you're in a niche business, every type of business can come up as hard, especially when you don't have the knowledge or the structure, or if you don't even believe in yourself. So yes, that could be one part. Another one, which I like I like to call the going out on a limb. So this one is, I've got this $1 million idea in my mind. Of course, it's probably a new invention, and not a lot of people have been in that area or done that before. And you're sort of like nursing it in your head. Again, going back to, do I have the capacity? What is my current strength? Right? Do I need to get people on board? What are my weaknesses? Do I have the knowing that a lot of startups fail? A lot of startups fail, right? Within 6 to 12 months. In fact, most businesses fail within that benchmark of going operational. If it's also a new market concept, remember, you'll be dealing with resistance to change. Dan, we've always done it like this before. Why do you think you're different? So all of these things, when you sort of like, okay, I'm in the niche business, it helps you to even narrow down the people that you need to be talking to from a lead point of view. Like, who are the people that I need to target? Someone was asking a question around, getting leads and generating leads and social advertising. I know if you could address some of the questions, that'd be good. And social advertising is a little bit of a it's not really on the table for them right now. Right. There's a lot of things for you to even identify who are the people. You need to know where do you sit on the ladder. Am I just is my business a niche business? Okay, if it is, what am I working towards, and who are the people that I need to be selling to? Again, also
Yeah.
ties back to the expertise that you have on how to run that and how you can leverage your connection, the people that you currently have, resources available to you. Guys, one thing I wanted to say is you only know as much as you know. So for you to even stand a chance of being successful in this area, you need to be willing to learn, to read, go all out, study materials, listen to people who have walked the path. And I'm going to be sharing some useful resources, of this session that you can book. We listen to a lot of audiobooks, real life. In front of me right now, there's lots of books around talking about different things about the business. Because again, no one is an island of knowledge, right? Even anything that you want to do today, there's probably a lot of people who have done it and who have learned from something like that. What they say, what they say, that benefit of learning from other people's mistakes. You learn from other people's mistake, you create your own mistake, you learn from it, and then you start to build that bank of knowledge. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but I thought it was really
That,
important that we
that,
go to
yeah.
Noah.
So I just wanted to really make this a bit more so action point for us, right? So if you've seen the category of businesses that you can actually start, right? You need to introspect and say, where are my skills? Where do I have competence? Maybe you have passion project, you like to take beautiful picture today, and you feel like, yeah, I have passion for this thing. I want to turn it into a business. Action step can be, all right, I'm just going to study what makes a good photography business. And you can start by making a list of all the photographers you can find between like 200-kilometer radius of you.
Yeah,
Call them up, call them, you know, check their website if they have, check all the things that they do well, check the things that they can be improved. By the time you speak to 50 of them, then you will see the things that work across board and begin to identify patterns, right? That way, if you wanted to do photography, videography business in that niche, at least you have some of unfair advantage. Of course, you need to continue to build your skills now, but you know the things that works, the things
it's
that
not
can be
working.
improved, and then you can definitely start to build your skills so that you provide the best service. Remember, we said business is about service. You provide the best service and begin to differentiate yourself, because in that type of business you must differentiate yourself. If you're doing a niche business, Tyler as I explained, for us we looked at all as much business as we can in our niche, right? I don't want to compete with RMT. I don't want to compete with Simply Learn. I don't
Yeah,
want to compete with other people. I want to focus on my ideal customer. What are the things that are painful for them? What is the pain? What is the conversation that they are having in their bedrooms, in the group of friends? Like, what is painful to them? I try a way to put myself in that conversation, right? And then of course I have unfair advantage because I have so much skills in this area, and I'm going to go and solve that problem and do it better than any university or other people will do it for my own target customer. I can come in class and make a joke about demure, cutesy, use Nigerian, African
jokes.
slang. That white folks will not be able to get your humor, will not be able to relate to you the same way. We say when we are in the group of friends or our community, we have something in common, right? I'm able to relate a bit more with my ideal customer because I'm solving it for
Like,
specific people. Now, Does our program, does it work for Australians? Of course, in my company, I have a day job. My company, I train Australians. They get what I'm training. They say, oh, they give me credit. I'm not, but I'm not saying because of that, at this stage, I want to go and expand and offer my service to all of us. If pockets of them want to join, all well and good.
Yeah.
But my message is that I want to solve problems for my people, African immigrant. And that's the theme of all the things we do. Oloja Hub, for example, is sitting between niche and going out in the limb, right? And this session again is a kind of validation for us, something that we're saying that you should always do as someone that is in business or trying to do business. You must try to what? Validate your idea. Is this even any good? Does this make sense? For example, I have spoken to more than 32 business in Australia, African, my ideal customer.
Yeah.
I have offered to pay, say, hey, I'm willing to pay 30 minutes. And you know what? Some people have like, no, love your idea and this thing. I'm happy to jump on a call for free. No, 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 no. Like, don't worry, you don't need to pay me for that. You'll be surprised how much people want to give to you. Like I'm humbled. I'm like, no, I'm happy to pay. Like I know I can't pay for your time, but I'm to just respect your time. But people, not one person has actually sent me a code like I'm going to charge you. And I've spoken to more than 32 people. But do you know what I've learned? I've had a lot of perspective. As a result, one of them is even here. I just like literally last week, hey, bro, would you join our webinar and just come and chat and share your own idea as well, right? So that is validation. Going out on the limb is all those companies, startup, they are raising funds and they are trying to solve big problems for the world, but 90% of startup will fail because you need money for that type of business. Do you have the skills? Do you have the idea that is validated, the strategy to actually raise capital for that? That one is tough, So sometimes you need to start, know your strength. That's why we say know your strength, know your weakness. Then you can say, okay, I will start maybe from tried and trusted. As I build my business confidence and experience, I can now start to explore, and expand my horizon. So that's just that. We will talk about how to get leads. Yeah, because again, every business need leads. Like the riches is in the leads, and we'll talk about what that means. So stay with us. Taya?
Think really, really
Yeah.
important. The whole point of you being able to put your business under which umbrella helps you to then say, okay, who are the people? Can I see what they're currently doing? Again, to Noah's point, you have that unfair advantage. You can see things, you can ask them. But I wanted to address the comment that someone just said very quickly. It says the scary part of talking about and validating ideas is if it's not copyrighted yet, there's a fear of your ideas being used.
Mm.
Look, it's a valid concern to have, but you will do yourself a lot more harm to keep it to yourself with just running with that fear. To be honest, ideas don't mean nothing. They're worthless. It's just an idea at the end of the day. The person that brings it to life. So because again, when you go out, it's not like okay, you divulge information. Remember, you're scouting for what they know what's currently existent. Like you're still the owner of the recipe at the end of the day. And if someone copies it, like there's no new thing, there's no particularly overly new invention that has not been done before or created before, done in a way. What makes the difference? What differentiates every single, there's lots of trainings right now. What differentiates you and that person who copies it is there's a lot of things. So I can't be
Mhm.
close-minded by being scared that what if I share my, because I completely relate with that. I used to think, oh, what if I share and they copy? Well, then go and copy it. you know yes, if it's the sky is very big. I'm not going to be the only person doing a type of business at the end of the day, would you? No, it won't just be you. But you see, that execution is what makes us different. Even I think I was reading about the story of KFC and how that kind of came to be, where people were doing before KFC became KFC. There were a lot of people doing like lots of special fried chickens and all of those things, right? So, but there's a difference. We can put 10 fried chickens on this table. We all sell fried chickens, but it's at the end of the day, they can all taste the same. And that's where you differentiate. And I particularly love the comment from King's Pen. Of course, you don't just go all out and just go on every nook and cranny, everyone you speak to. Do you understand? It's not like you just go and you again, goes back to you identifying the type, what is the type of my business, this thing that I'm nursing right now. Who are the people that I can speak to? We're all spirit
Yeah.
beings at the end of the day. That specificity, like, okay, all right, I don't feel comfortable with sharing, right? You would be able to determine the people that you can share that idea with. But one thing I want you to take is it's very contextual. You need to be like, you kind of need to do that homework. Okay, who can I speak to? And how can I protect this quote and unquote idea of mine? But you cannot, because of the fear of your idea being copied, and not speak to people about it or not validate. That's a big mistake, because if I'm trying to solve a problem and I'm not speaking to the people that would potentially, be the recipient of the solution, and I just go all out. And I'll give you an example. Consume what I'm buying, and I deliver it, and it's like, yeah, actually, no one really needs that. Like, it's not required. It's not. There's no market to consume that. It's dangerous. So you need to be specific, but you cannot not, because of that fear, not validate.
Real story,
Yeah.
guys. Again, just to cement it in your mind,
Yeah.
ideas are worthless.
They are
It can
worthless.
it is only beautiful in your mind as that person that conceived the idea.
Yeah.
Like everybody here would have an idea. It is worthless. The real work is in the execution. This Oloja up we're talking about, right? We're validating. That's why we're doing webinar, talking to people. Copy it, please. Go and copy it. If
Yeah.
you can execute it and then execute it well, I'm happy, right?
Correct.
Because it means that I can then go and look at the things that that
Make it
it gives
better.
me belief that yeah, actually that my idea is actually a viable one. But it doesn't. It is not easy to actually execute. That's the problem. Execution is the main thing. And when you're validating your idea, you need to validate with the people that add value to what you're doing, right? It is about validating with potential customer, people who have influence, are affected by the problem that you're solving. So it's not like you just go anywhere to go and that's a waste of time.
Mhm.
Key thing that I'll give you practical steps, right? We're doing validation for Oloja. It's not fully built yet, right? So we're calling businesses, as I said. Oh, what are the painful things for you? How do you
Yeah.
manage your business? We get all these answers, we get so much knowledge, and then we talk about, okay, we go to, leaders in the community as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what we're trying to do. Trust me, some people, yeah, Africans don't like, and we'll get to that slide, so we don't
Mhm.
jump the gun. There's so many things like bias, which is true or untrue, right? That we've learned. So you
Yeah.
will learn what not to do, what to do, and somewhere in between. But if you don't validate your idea, just imagine you build something nobody wants. Oh my goodness. And we have done that before.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. So in 2022, 2023, we started building a foreign exchange application. Now, there are a lot of foreign exchange application in Australia. Of course, at that time, it was more like a pet project for our students
Yeah.
so they can get real work experience and really build their skills. So even that failure taught us a lot of lesson, right? So because first of all, it helped people build skills, which was the main thing first.
Yeah.
And that it wasn't a painful like end to that process because we got value at the end of the day. But the point here is we didn't talk to a lot of people about, so we talked to some customer. Yeah, of course, this is
Send.
already out there. People are sending money back home and it's a real thing. But how many people are doing the like
Transaction.
how many times do you do transaction in a month, right? Maybe top on a very busy month. Maybe you do maybe 10 transactions. to Nigeria, back and forth, etc. Average person, maybe you do 10. And if you're charging how much, $3 or whatever on that transaction, there are some regulations, there are some customer care, the way we want to do it, again, going back to the way we want to do it,
Yeah.
where things happen fast. Customer service is 24/7.
Yeah.
It is the best anywhere in Australia because, of course, you all send money one way or the other. So we're not trying to solve a problem that nobody has done before. So
Correct.
people are already doing it. The way we want to solve it is like be the best platform in Australia. But to do that is so expensive, both in terms of regulations,
Yeah.
operational complexity, and all those things.
Yeah.
To solve, for it to be profitable,
Yeah.
for now we looked at this number, for example. What is the population of people in Australia, for example? Right? All the Africans put together. You know, the census data will tell you that we're about 500 now, maybe increased migration, maybe let's say 1 million. 1 million people, how many market share can you get there? Maybe 20% want to work with you, like you. Of course, they have different ways of sending. And not all Africans are from Nigeria that we're trying to solve. So how many Africans are really from Nigeria? We're less than 100,000. So if 100,000 people are doing transaction and averagely people are doing like 10 transactions, it's not big enough market for the investment. It didn't make sense.
Nah.
Right? But it is when you're validating, you will find out all of this information. Because we spent millions paying developers, testers, all of that. But as I said, it was more, the principal reason was more to help our students build skills. So we still got ROI. But imagine we wanted to actually launch the product and we spent millions only to find out all of these threatening issues that will not make it commercially viable for us. Given that the competition, everybody already send money. It's not like, why? I need to be convincing you to come and do business with us, right? It's not going to be viable. So it is your validation that helps you and save you from that pain.
Stress.
Because if you then say, I don't want anybody to know, I don't want anybody to copy, and now go and implement, I spend millions only to find out that I'll be running on a loss every single month. If I want to do this service the best way, what happens? And I don't have a venture capital to back that business. What will happen?
Don't work.
You fall into depression. You have a bad name for yourself because now you can't pay salary, then you're frustrated, you don't have joy in your life, you're stressing, and then you're making loss every month. It's incredible. You know, it's like a rabbit hole if you don't validate your idea. And if you decide to keep the idea yourself, it's dead anyway. So whatever you do, if you don't want to validate your idea from the beginning because people should not steal it, then it dies, or you go ahead and build that thing and nobody wants, or it's not commercially viable, then it kills you at the end of the day. So any way you want to look at it, it's pain. So remove yourself from that, remove your ego from that, and validate with the right people. Your customer, the people you're serving, you need to validate that idea with them.
Absolutely. And the key thing there is execution is hard. It's a lot of work. So it is not just a yet. I tell Tayo steals it and moves on. No, like to do anything successfully, it does take time. So please, let's not be scared. Validation. Your customers, the people on reading, and that actually fits perfectly to the next slide, which is the starting point. Again, that analysis needs to start. I want to start a business. Okay, why? What's the problem? And how does your business solve it? Analyzing and tearing things apart. But again, I can't sit in my house and say, okay, the problem today is Nigerians or Africans in Australia find it very difficult to find authentic products. on a central platform and just go and do it without even speaking to these so-called Africans and ask them, how do you currently shop today? Where do you get your groceries from? Where do you get your authentic, Kenyan product from or your Nigerian products from? Understanding is speaking to business owners. There are people who already have African stores today. What are some of the challenges that you face with that? So there's a lot of things there in analyzing that business idea, which ties back to you being able to then identify, okay, is this a niche business? Is it a tried and trusted business? What is available for me? Am I just like starting this new invention from the get-go? So you can't start anything. Again, this is your ideating stage. What exactly do I want to do? Remember your problem statement and how do I solve it? And what makes me unique? For that foreign exchange application, whilst we didn't do that full validation, it did make sense for what we really wanted out of it. We wanted techies from Sync Skills to have a platform where they can actually learn practical doings and do the things that they've learned and the virtual learnings to come and put it to use. That was the model that we created, and that was what we wanted with that. And we did achieve that. But if you move to understanding the legal obligations, that was missing. And when I read all of the things that we needed to do, I'm like, nah, this thing's gonna send me back to my village. Can't do this right now. If you're again, once you understand the type of business that you're trying to do, you then go into the details of this. Remember, we're in a very heavily regulated country, so you can't just do anything. Let's just start something. Even food business, a lot of people, I see some people, they run food businesses, they don't have certificates, they don't have food handling certificate, they don't have those things. Like if something were to go wrong and you start to investigate you and look into you. So who certified you? So who did this? Even churches today, for you to be in the children department, you need to present your working with children check. And that is not even like a for-profit business, like, right? So you need to understand what are some of the legal components, what are some of the compliance obligations that I need to adhere to. For a foreign exchange application that Noah was talking about that we were building, oh my goodness, legal obligations was killing the training that we had to do. I think one of it cost like $10,000 from AML and CTF. 10,000 just for training, and that is just us. Every single person that would be working as a staff as well, they needed to do that training, a lot of things. That's just one out of lots of different things. So this is very, very key. Gaining an appreciation of what are some of the components here. The way I like to see it is if something goes wrong, this thing send me to jail. Like I don't want to do anything that puts me on the. I don't want to do anything that puts my family at risk. I've no. Did you want to add something?
Yeah, insurance. Huh.
Key.
We like to do a lot of African business, cash in now and all those things. We don't really think about the legal, implications Tyler was saying. It's very important, especially here. It's not an anyhow environment. And if you want to really thrive and provide credible service, you need to think about just legal things, compliance. You need to think about, okay, how am I going to ensure I have the right insurance? Do you have a physical office? Do you have those things? Because imagine you start a business, they come to your office. I'm sure this one is popular. You are cleaning the floor with water. Somebody go and sleep and knock their head up. Oh my God. Like the kind of, I don't even know, the kind of problem. You've not even sold one item or product. The kind of problem you already face in that business because of lack of insurance is small in our mind. Like that's not the first thing that comes to your mind, but it's so critical. And that's why our demographic, what we've seen, some business we treat informally, we'll talk about that. We need to actually start to be thinking about how do I actually standardize it? Because ultimately, we want a future where you go to Inana, you go to all these stores around, and you see an African business standing. So you go there, you see Asian business, you see Indian business, you see stuff. But we have only African store in
Just
specific,
one.
is the future where everybody can thrive. We are here calling this place home. Our generations are coming, our children. We need to create opportunities where they are thriving, they are doing business, they are not just settling for what is in the system, just the way some of us are. So we must do things formally,
Differently.
properly, to create when you do business and you get the idea where you solve problems well, immense thing can happen, and that's why you can get financial freedom that can cascade generations, right? And if you get to that level, you give your children that kind of high pedestal. You create opportunity for people that are not even your family members. Today, from our idea, we have more like 32 people employed around the world from an idea, right? We have Indians, Pakistan, Nigerians. Sometimes we're like, oh my God. Initially, I'm like, I just want only Nigerians. Like, I just want Africans really in the business because of
Yeah.
what we're trying to do. But we realize that, well, it's not for all the skill sets you need. You actually, you're a global company. You can't just say, oh, it's just one table. You have to start to review that. You will not know everything, and that's the whole point why we're sharing practical things. You won't know everything, but you learn and adapt. But the point is, you must know some important things so that you don't start your business on the wrong foot. Yep.
Absolutely. Very important. And again, not to label the points, determining your business structure. We already spoke about that, and we're going to even talk about like the different types and where you fit into, that category. In terms of registration, this one ties back to Noah's earlier point around let's just do, let me just start here. I'm just selling, at the back of my garage. I don't need to register. Again, for us to compete, when you look at Coles, when you look at Woolies, you won't find African product there. And like you won't really find like a lot. I don't know, like at least the Coles near my area, like you won't find like our core authentic product there. We need to start to think about how we can position where Coles will start to approach us
Yeah.
and say, wow, we can see the traction. We want to have you guys in our international section. But how can you do that when we do everything so informally? The business is not registered. You don't have an ABN. You can't issue invoice to people. You can't send out, like you can't, the standard structure, which then speaks to the whole perception of it's just Africans. Let's just do hand to hand and let's just do it anyhow. Let me just start. So we need to start to move away from the mindset of I'll do it later. It's not a big enough business. I'm just selling to one or two people. Photography, it's not that much of a big deal. Standardize, register the business. But again, appreciating that you can't register something that you've not even really married and firmed up the idea. You don't know that you don't have that business plan. There's no business model in your mind. So that can be which is why we started with the whole have a framework. Tear things apart, validate it, then take the right step. Because what that does to you is you're giving room for scaling. If you're in business and that business is not in a position where you can scale, scaling meaning like you can move to the next level, you can project and move to the next part. You can't be in business and you've just literally done the same thing for every 365 days. You're doing the same thing, you're still in that bracket. That's not a business. That's just the Antoine. Let's just play. So
Yeah.
registration is key. And I think that we do have something around, how you can start to understand, do I need to start with getting an ABN as an example? Do I need to register as a company? We'll talk about, all of the old proprietorship, sole trader, etc. types of businesses. But I wanted to lock this in our minds that we want to move away from the it's not so much, it's not a big thing. Let me
Yeah.
just register. So very, very important. Of course, we've talked about mentorship and networking. So speak to people who are who have walked the path. Let's really understand. Again, business literacy. This one is very key, and that ties back to my earlier point around gaining an appreciation of this space. I grabbed the book the other day, just reading about how to save money legally on tax and how to small businesses for dummies and entrepreneurship and all those things. If you don't have the knowledge, you can't really push. And business literacy is not just you sitting to read books. Listen to podcasts as well. Listen to audio books. Anything that works for you. Speak to people. and try and see what's going on in their mind. Educate yourself, pen things down. I always say, like, the things that you get from having that knowledge. Of course, you don't know everything, and you won't get everything in one single day. But every single step you take towards learning, you begin to increase that bank as you go. Oh, okay, so this is how I can save money on tax. Oh, these are some of the things that I need to put in place for my business. This is the map for me to scale this business in another 2 years. These are the things that I need to do. So you're not like walking backwards. You have that you know you have that structure. When you have the business situation, you know the type of people to hire on the business. You know that you won't be trading your time for money, and you won't when you have people who are unskilled on the job, that's going to affect every single thing. And from experience, skill set is very key. When you don't business literacy, you don't know how to hire the right people for your job. You don't know how to bring the right people on board. Heading for failure. And marketing and branding. Appreciate that not everyone will be very good at marketing and branding, and you may have to get people who are actually, like your SEO experts, your digital marketers. Depends on the dynamics of your business. You need to get people who have that understanding. Your content writers, etc. How they can really guide you on like sales, how to do your advertising, how to sell to people without selling. But even you, as the owner of that business, you need to know. I always say to people, as a business owner, you kind of know everything. You have to know at least you need to have an idea about everything. Otherwise, how do I know if the SEO expert I hired is telling me what is not going to work? I may not know everything, but when I'm in a room speaking to the people that are working with me, I can point and say, oh, actually, I don't agree with what you said based on this information. And I stand to be corrected. But if I don't know anything and someone's telling me about, funneling, advertising, this, and I will just accept every single, I can't question. And if you can't question things, you cannot really measure the success of what they're doing. So your marketing and branding is very key. Otherwise, how do you get your business in the face of the people that actually need it? So we'll move along because
Yeah.
we do have a slide to talk about marketing.
Just,
But
just on that, Tyler,
yeah,
just on registration, because this is a big problem, that we've seen a lot. It is not just to register your business, it is an opportunity for you to scale.
yeah,
Like if you need finance, cash flow to run or scale your business, no bank will give you if you don't have a projection, a cash flow, and proper business structure. And we're going to talk about that. But for that growth, where the business can then grow to sustain your life, you need to be able to register it, put the right system in place, right? She also mentioned something about tax. The biggest expense all of us will ever make is paying tax,
yeah,
right? I didn't hear that a lot. I didn't care about tax a lot in Nigeria because there are so many things you can get away with without. We don't pay a lot of tax in Nigeria. But when I moved abroad, I realized that, oh my God, you pay so much tax with every single thing. If you have a house, there's inheritance. Like if you have a business or a house and you want to, give your children and everything, there's tax for
yeah,
in some countries for that.
yeah.
So you need to know, educate yourself on how can I optimize my business so that I then save on tax. I am tax efficient. It's not about cashing out, like we said. If it's just your tax saving um mechanism is just I do my business cashing out alone, then you're not going to be able to scale past that point. Just wanted to point that out. Tire.
Absolutely. So it's very, very key, that we put all of those things
Yeah.
into mind. And you can feel free if you wanted to. I forgot to have that prior. If you wanted to take a, screenshot, you wanted to snap it, please. But we'll share this. We'll share the slides with you at the end of the day. So very good starting point for you. I know
Yeah.
we've talked about this. Sorry, no, we've talked about this. I'll just quickly gloss through and you can have. So we talked about this prior in relation to doing that research, knowing who your people, knowing like who your customer is, who are the people already doing this. But again, that entrepreneurship journey without this evaluation, it's the chances of success would be very, very slim. If
Yeah.
I don't know the
And
market, it's slim. Sorry, no.
And you're not going to know the market like if you don't put in the work to actually. So, actionable step for you. I have this idea. You want to know who are my ideal customer? Like, what do they want? What service am I going to provide to those ideal customers? Right? You want to know them. We've talked about that earlier. Right? And then we will talk about the competitors. Who are the people
Yeah.
that actually provide this service? That are providing this service already. What are they doing? I gave an example earlier. You ring them up. If you can, just behave like you are their customer, right? And then you actually ring them up, learn from that. You'll be able to know, okay, what are the things that they do well? And then you want to really dial down on your customer. For example, at 𝐂𝐻𝐍𝐶𝐄𝐓, when we started, we just definitely always share the vision, what we want to do. We know our customer, we know what we're trying to solve. But as we progressed and built our credibility and built our confidence as well, we said, actually, we're not going to take anybody, like we're not going to take everybody on board. So we have this call we do with our potential students, anybody that is like willing to sign up and go on that journey, where we explain exactly step by step what you'll be doing, your commitment, right? Because the truth is, if you don't put input, you can't get the output.
Mm-mm.
And we don't want to create a system where people just come, because we're not just doing a training. It's not, oh, we just train you, whatever. You can find more training everywhere. We're not just trying to train you and then you go.
No.
There are system and processes. We follow up. There's accountability. There are checks that you have to sign up to, like, hey, I'm ready to put in the work to actually achieve this dream. Then if we align on that position, then we can work together, right? So as you build your authority in that space, you need to define exactly. These days we say, oh, based on this call, what's our assessment? This person does not have the time, they are dealing with this and that, they are not ready, they have limiting beliefs. We've tried to convince you. Of course, you need to have all those doubts
Yeah.
given, right? But if you are not willing to put in the work, maybe you heard from somebody that got a job and you just say, let me just give it a go and wing it. We're going to be clear with you, like, winging cannot achieve the success that you desire. And so that we align on expectation, this is what we can do. If you can't put in this time, you will not be able to get the result. When you're setting that expectation clearly, then you'll be able to solve and serve people well. And trust me, you may say, well, I've done something. So going back to photography, you solve one problem for one person. Trust me, you can solve for 100. You can put system and process in place to solve for 1,000. And you can scale that system on to solve for 1 million. That's how businesses operate. So that thing that starts from small, one person, you're solving problem. In fact, you should solve problem for one person. When you solve for one person, then you know that, okay, I can solve for 100, I can solve for 10, I can solve for 100, I can solve from 1 million. And that's why you may be the best person to help drive your business to 1,000 users. Maybe you now need to hire a CEO who knows how to change that business from a 1,000 user to a $1 million company or a $10 million company. Very important. I always tell Tayo that with my skill set today, I may not be the best CEO to actually scale skills to a $100 million company. I have never run a $100 million company. If the vision is to get to that point, I would at some point have to hire people that have that level of experience that will change the business and say, hey, this is what we need to do to get to a $100 million company. But today, I know what it means to run a $1 million company. That's where my limit is. Of course, I can build my skills, but I will make a lot of mistakes. And do I want to pay? It's a decision. Do I want to pay for that slow journey of making mistake to get to 100 million? Or do I want to say, okay, find a deal with somebody that maybe is the CEO of Uber and has run $100 million company that can just come, if I can convince them to come and work and say, drive this company to $100 million, this is your share and all of that. If I want to begin to go on that journey, it's going to be long. So you must recognize where your strengths are at the end of the day to build a proper business that can scale. Tayo.
Very, very important. So you just need to, if you don't do that, then you don't really have an understanding of where you're headed. I just wanted to touch on like knowing your customer. You need to know the people that you want to sell to. You know what they say, customers come first. And going back to our conversation in relation to, validating your idea and all of that stuff, like people come up with an idea, but they don't verify if people would actually pay for it. So it comes from, who am I selling to? What is their problem? What is their pain point? So you need to ask yourself this question. Okay, who am I selling to again? To your demography. Is it Africans? Is it Nigerians? Is it all everyone in Australia? Whether you're immigrants, whether you're everyone. Okay. And what is this problem? And how does what I want to provide, how does it give solution to that problem? More importantly, are they going to pay for it? Do they have the money for it? So it's important that you do the analysis. So when you start to market, or when you start to talk about your product, you know the people that you're laser focused. I'm not going everywhere. Right now, with where 𝐂𝐶𝐓 is, I know the people that can be a beneficiary of this transformation. And those are the people that I put my focus on. Those are the people that I surround myself with. Those are the people that I'm in their circle. I'm trying to think about what they talk about, what they discuss with their friends, and how can I provide solutions, some of those pain that they talk about. So it's very, very important. I like this middle guy, this competitor analysis, because who are the people that I'm competing with? Someone reached out to me the other day, and they talked about the fact that they wanted to start an African food business in Queensland. And they had a little bit of confusion as to what the starting point would be, where do they start from, and all those things. We got into conversation. We started to talk about a lot of different parts of that business and the things that they can do. I got to understand that they wanted to focus on like grocery, etc. Now, what's the importance of doing competitor analysis? Why do I even need to know, like, why do I need to analyze, or why do I need to get into the details of the people who are my competitors, people who are already doing what I want to do? It helps you to identify that gap and how you differentiate for them. It helps you, it gives you that unfair advantage as well on how you can make yours better, and how you can take cues from them, how you can take ideas, how you can really get more information from them and leverage it for yourself. So it's very, very important. Before we keep going, I'm going to call our guest for the day. Noah, do you want to do us the honors of introducing him?
Yes. So this is again similar to what we've been talking about. So I put a message out there saying, hey, I'd like to speak to, business owners around Australia who are, willing to have a chat. And this is what we're trying to do with 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐶𝐄𝐓. So as I said, I spoke to a lot of people, and I I learned a lot from that process, So I spoke to 𝐂𝐿𝐓, who is a realtor and has so much experience. In that conversation, I'm like, wow, if I'm thinking about, investment property, thinking about doing real estate, I would definitely need this person in my corner to advise me, give me tailored advice. If I want to go to Combank and stockbrokers, yeah, they will give me good advice, but they may not give me advice that is tailored to my context as an African immigrant. So I said, hey, would you be happy to come and, just chat to our people 10 minutes? And he was kindly happy to do that. So, 𝐂𝐿𝐓, if you just want to
Thank you.
share a bit, thanks.
Yeah, I'll turn on my camera as well. Got my headset in, dialing in. I'm with my son at the moment, so in case you can hear stuff in the background, sorry.
That's okay. Thank
But,
you.
No worries.
So yes, thanks for the introduction, Noah. Nice to meet you, everyone. My name's 𝐂𝐻𝐍𝐄𝐂𝐓. I'm based out of Canberra, ACT. So far, yeah, it's been good presentation I've heard. I like what you guys are doing. Same thing as I said when we spoke last week. I believe in your program, hence I was able to support and even probably offer to contribute more than what you guys were expecting or asking for back then. So also about knowing your market value and your niche as well and seeing what partnership agreements you can have. So I was born in Nigeria. My family and I moved to Canberra, Australia when I was 6. Both of my parents were diplomats in the Nigerian High Commission, and they ended up working with the UN and everything as well. And we had other postings in Turkey, Switzerland. They were posted in Ethiopia as well. So we came from a diplomatic family, happened to play a lot of sports, grew up and did all of that stuff here, played basketball at a high level, then got injured and came back. So that's a bit of my background before going into business and how I started. So being in Canberra, most of the work's with government. I already knew I had a financial passion in doing all of that. So I primarily did finance within government for the last decade. I set up my business. I like the notes you guys had in here on the chats, where some people are talking about having full-time job and having your business as a side hustle. That is exactly how I started. So I started in 2017, registered my business, Home Securities. I can also put the information on the chat here, and you guys can reach out on LinkedIn and stuff if you want to see the pages and everything. I'll just share that there while we're talking. Yes, I started as a side hustle. I, I studied this in university, so I've got my master's specializing in applied finance and investments. But as we said with the ideas, an idea doesn't mean anything until you can put your actions and execute. So that's what I did. I took that risk, executed, studied a lot, read a lot of information, liaised with the industry, and started buying properties. So I always had high esteemed goals, like most people have, but I set very tight deadlines. I'd say this and people would laugh at me. I wanted to be a millionaire by 25 and a billionaire by 50. Those were my targets. I'll still get there. I became a millionaire at 27. So I ended up buying 7 properties within 7 years and still maintain all of them. And we're in a tight market. Bought my first property at 22 with 17,000 deposit. I utilized all the grants the government give. So these are things we look at when we're trying to go into property as well. The government always gives grants to first homeowners usually. So depending on what state you're in, you can access these grants. You can access stamp duty exemptions, all of these things to buy a property. Then you build your equity, then you start purchasing and multiplying. So after I did this, I'm close to the African community here in Canberra. I just give informal advice. People would come and ask questions. 1 second. Then people would come and ask questions, give advice. But, it's the same thing was said, sometimes a lot of Africans don't trust other Africans until they can see you doing it. So for me, I was very low key. I didn't tell many people what I earned or whatever until recently this year when I resigned from government formally. But the people who knew me personally knew that out of everyone, obviously in the circle, I was the one that was doing a lot of those things. So I started giving informal advices to my friends and they were making a few 100,000 buying property in the right place. Then I'm like, oh, actually, let me start the business and actually make profit out of this, but market to the broader population. Then it was only recently that I started deciding to specifically focus on bringing value and advice to the African community and actually talking about that more. Because we've been in Canberra, most of my clients are Caucasians, public servants. It's just standard here in Canberra. We don't have too many Africans here. Maybe we might have 2,000 or 3,000. So this is why we also had to broaden out and do everything that way, and using LinkedIn to connect with professionals, meeting with that from African backgrounds who are ready to do things. So that's a bit about myself, where I got to, how I got to what I was doing, and practicing that. I'm a firm believer of you don't go to a specialist for advice unless that specialist has already done what you're trying to get to. So if you're also shy about sharing your ideas to people, Unless you really believe in your idea, there's an organization in government called IP Australia, intellectual property. If you're willing to believe in your idea and you're willing to fork out 60 to 200,000 to patent your idea so no one can steal or copyright it, then you got a great idea. If you can't pay 60 to 200,000 for your idea, then your idea is either not good enough or you need to work out how you're going to get it to that stage to bring that value. But for me, before having to patent my idea, I'll, run it, explore it, then start generating that type of money before you can trademark. Most businesses do not trademark until you're already operating. If you're operating, then you decide, all right, how much is 200,000 now? Is that 10% of my revenue? My company is now valuable enough that I can patent my idea. So these are the type of things you talk about. Your lawyers will charge you on your patenting. The organization directly to apply is, about that much as well. So those are the type of things you look at when you're protecting your idea. For me, networking is key. So any idea you have, get your trusted people. You need people to explore your ideas with and share that. So there's no such thing about keeping your ideas to yourself. You'll never get anywhere. You can keep talking about it for years and years, but if you don't put actions, it's not happening. So that's a tip there. I was brought on here to specifically talk about my business and how to set up your own company. So there's some standard practices you would have to apply. When you're setting up your business, you always get your partnership, get your accountants, get your financial advisors, maybe if you already have the funds for that, but that's like an extra level. So realistically, you would just be looking at your accountants, your business partners if you're going in with partnerships. If not, then there's bodies like ASIC, which is the Australian Securities and Investment Commission, where when you're setting up your company, that's where you're going to make sure everything's registered. You've got your insurances and your compliances you have to meet. Then register you with the Australian Business Register, abr.gov. So those are the two primary things you need to set up when you're setting up your companies. Then from there, you can start operating, then make sure you're reporting, doing your BASs quarterly or monthly, then do your financial tax return at the end of the year. So those are the simple principles you have to look at. But it's when you're operating in Australia, you need to compliance takes a lot of time in business. And this is one of the things that I guess a lot of Africans forget when they're dealing with an African business running in Australia formally. We're still held by the guidance, privacy, and compliance that if we breach, we can't be in business operating anymore. You can't sell properties, you can't broker those deals if you're not doing that. So that trust is the misconception that people forget to have. So just to be a licensed business here, you need to be on top of compliance or your aggregators will cut you off and you can't practice in your field. So that's one of those things in terms of taking away the stigma of trusting African businesses. So that's why I'm pushing as well to get people in. Even if most people are homeowners here, you're refinancing your properties to an African broker or business. Those are the type of ideas we're trying to get to because everyone is making money from your loans regardless. So it's either the main institutions are making money or, another broker. So if I was to put a poll up in our group here, I'd say probably 80% of people went with a bank or a broker that's non-African, maybe even 90%. But then again, our market, we don't have too many brokers in the country. I could count maybe 50 that I know of across Australia that are mortgage brokers or African-based mortgage brokers. So these are one of those things that we can give back to the community by pushing that, refinancing our loans, because there's about 400,000 to 1 million Africans in Australia at this stage. And we're looking at Africans who are also I guess one of their parents are African, because there's a lot of mixed background people in the country now, or 1/8 at this stage, because now we're getting to the third generations of Africans in Australia. We came here in 98. So my parents already have grandkids now that are getting to their teenage years. So we're getting to the third and fourth generations of African background Australians. So yeah, we just also have to look at those kind of things when we're doing business. Main thing, it's about trust and professionalism. When I consult to government, I consult to the federal government. I can't say the department, but when we deal with finance for them, it's about pointing out these things, making the analysis that feed into decision making. Within the executives make their decision, so we already know we're skilled in that way. But they listen to your skill set, they listen to your advice, they wish they can get more. So things are changing. We're just trying to get in those sectors. Most people I find from African backgrounds tend to be in nursing or community services. So this is also one of those things. We're trying to get more people into finance. We're trying to break that 419 stigma. Most of people here are Nigerian, so we understand 419. So we need to take away those Nigerian Prince emails that we get. So that's the hardest thing I found with running a financial business or broking business. People would joke about it, but those the trust things you have to also take about it. So I was specific when I was doing my marketing and lead generation, just touching on that because there's another broker on the call. I read your message. With lead generation, you have to be specific on your target market. You need to know who you're trying to get and how you market yourself to that person. So, social media, all of that kind of stuff doesn't work because there's bias in it in ourselves, right? We already have that bias. We're black. We're fine. That's it. People would look at you and be like, oh, is that person really skilled? Do they know what they're talking about? Are they, going to scam my money? Are they going to deliver the service they say they will? So there's that extra precaution we have to take, unfortunately, but that's reality. So you have to take extra measures to show you're skilled at what you do, show your trust. Then from there, you're delivering, even checking in with your clients and all of that. But with your lead generation, you have to be specific in the type of target market you're going for. So the way I did mine was to reach out to different professional bodies that have diversity or inclusion in them, speaking to their CEOs or executives, because the executives are willing to work with you if you reach out. So networking is the most important thing. Just reaching out, creating a presence, telling people what you do, get out of your comfort zone. Then you generate leads organically. Now, and I can tell some of you have already been looking at my website because I use Wix and I can see, I get notifications when the websites are being accessed, and this has spiked a little bit. So when you're doing these kind of things, you look at your analytics and you see when, people are checking in with your website, what forums you're doing, where you're talking and all of that kind of stuff. So getting leads for a brokerage or financial services business isn't too transactional. It takes time. It takes 3 to 6 months, sometimes a year. Just keep posting. You never know who you're inspiring or who's watching you. Then out of the blue, people might reach out. Like today, I had like 3 calls this morning before coming on this chat, and it's been people just watching my posts from the last few months. And they're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this. I'm trying to do this. Let me refinance with you and this and that. So instantly that's like $2 million in loan size in one day. And, we get a big commission out of that, or less than 1%. You can do the maths on that. So in a day, those kind of things can happen and you'll be, it takes time. So since 2017 till 2024, 7 good years was how long I put in work before I could switch my full-time role to or my business being a side hustle to a full-time role. The main thing is getting started. If you can survive in your business and you're passionate about it for 3 years, you're already better than 90% of the population or 90% of business startups. So if I can say anything to inspire or encourage you guys looking to start up your businesses, just start it. Make sure you're passionate about it because you'll be doing extra hours. Then you might not be rewarded for at least a year or 2 years. Then just keep pushing, have your main job and do your business as a side hustle. Then you go from there. Then once you realize you're making more with your business than your day job, which I hope you get to that stage, then you can work for yourself and join the journey. And I guess another plug for myself, just reach out if you guys want to refinance your properties or you're looking to purchase or you're looking for investment advice. I'll be open. You've got my details. I've sent that through on LinkedIn or anything. Feel free to connect. Once you message there, I can put my number back. But we'll reach out and we'll connect with Noah and everything. And nice meeting everyone. And if you have questions, let me know and I can answer on the chat. But I'll keep listening in the forum. Thanks,
Oh
guys.
my.
Thanks, Tyler.
Oh my goodness, like that was so much knowledge, packed in such short time limit. But thank you so much. I couldn't really help but pick out like those core things that you mentioned, especially going back to, the idea and you even acknowledging as someone who's been there, done it as well, still keep doing it. As there's no such thing as keeping your business idea to yourself. That just doesn't work. You can't, again, it's worthless. And I'm like using that word very strongly. It is really worthless if that has not been executed. And you touched on the importance of showing trust. Like, let people know that they can trust you. Again, looking at where we're from, like to the 491 stigma that you mentioned, you're going to have to put the reps. You need to put in the work. I won't just hand over my trust to you just because you told me that you've done this. So I read, reviews on your website. I kind of need to prove that to you. And then I keep doing that. Someone will say, oh no, if you reach out to OBSA, this was the quality of service that I got from him. And that goes like that. You do that till you never really have to spend 2 hours on the phone proving your credibility to people. You understand? Because it just flies. And I really love what you said around, that showing your trust and the fact that as a business owner, the passion has to be there because you're going to be working, getting unpaid, and that can go for years. Hopefully doesn't go for too long, but you need to know at least in your first 2 years, you're not going to be paying yourself because you won't be in a position to do that. But I thought those were really, really brilliant things. And, you talking about like your experience in the finance space and some of the things that you're taking. Fantastic, fantastic. I was just scrolling through my slides because you literally were speaking our minds in terms of lead generation, in terms of the people that you can speak to. And we particularly, so thank you so much, OBSA, very, very, very well said. Thank you, really appreciate it. Just to also for, going on what OBSA has told us in relation to leads, right? We created this slide and I would please indulge everyone on this call. Please, I believe we all have smartphones. Can I please ask that we all take a picture of this slide? I'm getting at something. Please take a picture of this slide and post it on your story, on your Instagram story or your Facebook story, your Instagram story, this one if you've got Instagram. And please tag @oloja_AU. We're getting at something and I'll tell you what I mean. Please take a picture of this. Get here your first 5 leads. This is assuming, remember how to start a business. So I'm new and I actually don't know how to get my customers. Someone actually called me this week and said, I already shared the story about the person that called me about their, African grocery store that I wanted to open. And she one of her biggest concerns, how do I even get one person to buy from me? Like, what am I meant to do? What am I supposed to do? And look, there's knowledge in reading. Alex Moses says this a lot, and I decided to quote him. Of course, he said, you would never be poor getting leads for your business. Leads. You can never get enough leads. And today we wanted to present you this framework as a starting point that within you already have people you can start to talk to. Remember, your lead, they're your prospect. And then you eventually move from lead to an encouraged lead. And then you jump on that conversation, ride on the wave, then you convert to your customer. Now, I know that we are almost at time, but please take this picture. I want to see the tags coming in. The first thing, I'm new to business. I don't actually even know who to talk to about this thing, this maybe my wait list, or this is what I want to do. Alex Moses says, make a list today as someone who already has got connection of people. Your friends, your family, your frenemies, the people that you've either met, once spoken with, interacted with at some point in time, they are your starting point. And it says, it looked at your core major channels, your emails, your social contact. So your Instagram, your Facebook, your TikTok, your X. I love to call it Twitter. Just X doesn't quite flow in my mind. Twitter, X, I'm gonna respect them, X, yeah. And some other social media platforms. And you see your phone, your contact list. Prepare that list and gather, New to business, I don't even know how to even talk to someone. You already have the people. Look through this list, right? So very, very important. Look through this list. Gather all the information together, and then look at this platform. Okay, where do I have the biggest number of people? For you, it could be your IG, it could be your Instagram. For you, it could be emails. For you, it could be your phone contact. Okay, we're going to leverage that channel as a starting point. I want to talk to these people. If I even say I'm new to business, if I wanted to start with everybody on this call that I met today, you're my starting point. I talk to you. Oh, look, I'm not seeing this. This is where I'm headed. I think someone posted about the community they're trying to create. You reach out to them. Remember, these are people that I know we recently caught up at an event, just like Obieze just put. I was thinking I could talk to you about this, I planned a message based on my relationship with them. If there are people that maybe we hang out a lot and they're my close circle of friends, I still plan the messaging. Oh, Mimi, I saw that you recently moved to my suburb. This is what I'm doing. Let's catch up, or this is what I would like to share this with you. What are your thoughts? You then reach out to them, which is your step 4. Some will reply you, some will not reply you. And that's fine. There's going to be a lot of no replies. In fact, I wake up every day thinking about how many no's would I get today, or how many no-shows, i.e. no response, will I get today? Because I know that from every other thing, someone would respond. Someone at least would respond, rather than me not trying at all. So this is you now pushing all out, rather than saying, okay, I don't have people. Please, X that statement. You have leads. It's all about how you want to nurture the leads. So this can get you your first 5 leads. When they reply you, what do you want to say again? So it's not just a send message for luck. Then they reply, it's like, ooh, I don't know. You're not just messaging to chat with them to say, how are they doing? That's not the only thing. You want to get them to understand where I'm coming from. Oh, I know. I'm not sure if you're aware. I just opened, a restaurant for this purpose. It's based in Ipswich. I was thinking you'd like to visit one of these days, something like that. And when they reply, I acknowledge them. Oh, I really appreciate your response. I know that, you must have been busy. If there's anything that you want to compliment, you can compliment, then you ask them, look, would you be chanced, perhaps next week to come into, my restaurant just to have a feel of some of the cuisines and some of the things that we have? I'm just using that as a bare example right now. And if you have some friends as well that you think may be interested in this particular thing, please, you can share their contact with me. I'll be more than happy to speak to them. That progression, even if they don't buy, they know about you. They know your business. They know that this is happening. And that is power. That's a starting point. So I want us to move from, I don't even know where to start from. Your friends at the beginning, your family, your frenemies, everyone, people on your contact. So scout, action point. Today you're thinking, okay, I have this idea, or I have this business. I'm currently not getting enough lead. Have you looked inwards? I'm new to business. How do I even start to speak to people? You've got your emails, you've got your social contacts, you've got your phone contact. Very, very important. No, was there anything you would like to add before I move on to?
Just wanted to say, brilliant. There is riches in
Email.
getting leads, right? So this is a framework. If you get 100 of those people and speak to them, I bet you at least you will get one person to say yes to you, right? And just think about, how can I then get 200? So 2 people will say yes to me. How can I get 1,000? So 10 people would say yes to me. It's hard. And that is where we talk about the execution. If you can execute this, you will continue to get leads. And trust me, if you have good enough product or service, if you talk to 100 people, we are saying worst case, you get 1, but I tell you, you can get 50. That's like the rate we have at SimSkills at least. And a lot of times it's actually referral. People who have gotten that transformation, they tell their connection because they are not seeing them in that job anymore. That frustrate them. And people there are like, where are you? I'm now working in tech. What did you do? Okay, speak to Noah, speak to Tayo, speak to Tosin, speak to this person. That's how we get 90% of our leads. We've just started saying, okay, let's start to do social media marketing. And to that fantastic person that said, you're struggling to generate lead, every business, right? That's a challenge. If you can get enough lead, then you have a solid business. Of course, you must match it with your product and service.
Right.
So use this framework, start with what you have, start to get to communities. See, a lot of people here, many of them actually saw a message on a community. Some of them are our friends, right? Some of them are people that are already family of 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐄𝐂𝐓. They are here today. The people that we got people to sign up, half of the people that signed up are not here. But some new people, family, friends, family of 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐄𝐂𝐓, family, friends, you guys from groups and community are here today, right? So I'm not trying to sell you anything, but I'm trying to, tell you about what we're doing, share our experience, and it's also an idea to validate, okay, how many people are actually thinking about business? What are some of their struggles? We've learned some of the things. We know leads is a big thing. Now, okay, we are gathering data, we're learning, and that's what we're saying you should also go and do. How can you educate people about what you're trying to do, the problem you're trying to solve? Because when they know it, if they come across somebody that has that pain, they can say, hey, can you go and check 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐶 up? You can actually list your business there, connect to customers, more leads for you. If you don't have a website, no worries. They will sign you up. You have a virtual store that you can showcase your product. If you're a service provider and you're looking for work, go to 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐶. You can help people do some services and then earn money. So that is the future, right? So that is how you build your list. And you can do influencer marketing. Oh, I know this person talks about real estate to my customer, to the ideal customer. Can I go and partner and say, hey, actually, you talk about finance a lot. I see you have a big following. This is what I do. This is the problem we're solving. These are our testimonials. Would you like to help us put that message about this? Give us visibility, and anybody, more visibility, right? More people will know about what we do. We've tried it a few times. I've found some people I connected to that I felt I would want 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐄𝐂𝐓 brand to associate with. I've gone and said, hey, would you like to talk about 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐄𝐂𝐓? And I show you success story that you can connect with that has gone through the program, right? And they had that conversation, did the interview, and okay, let's do a video. I'm happy now to talk about what 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐄𝐂𝐓 does. And through that, some people from UK will say, do you support people in UK? Yeah, we do. Immigrant, we do. Canada, US, we now have people all over the world. So that is how you start to generate lead. It may be influencer marketing that will work for you because there's someone that has audience and talking directly to your customer. So if you want to do SEO, that takes time. So you must have the right strategy. We can't go into all of that because today is about just sharing about business. But there's so much in business. I'm sure you know now that you need to actually factor in. But leads is what actually make you profitable as a business. Get more leads and provide service to them that is good, you will get more customers. So we have some resources.
Now, before we get into the resources, I know that our time is fast spent. Can you all still see my slide?
Yes.
Okay, so let's make that bigger. Sorry, I think I must have inked out of that. I wanted to quickly touch on this as we round up this session. We have like 4 minutes. I know that Obieze as well, touched on the whole 491, the whole perception of Africans, the whole, us being able to move away from that stigma. But I would please like to ask everyone to please pop in the comment if you've ever been in a position, that you made this statement, or, I you know, as an African, I don't like to patronize another African. Or you've heard people talk about this. I want us to talk about the why. Like, why do people say, oh, Africans don't patronize each other? Oh, it's an African business. I'm not going to patronize that person, or I don't trust them. I don't fully trust this person. Or someone else. So who are the people, you know, doing that? Oh, they're Nigerians. Oh, they're Kenyans. Oh, that doubt instantly just pops into our mind. And how do we in this generation change that perception? Because again, it is not an African person. I don't think it's about like Africans. It's us. We are the people. How can we collectively work towards changing this? Where when you talk about someone, you say, oh, the person that is delivering the service is an Aussie. You instantly kind of have a little bit of an assurance. At least they will show up. At least they won't disappoint me. At least. And even if they won't be in a position to show up, they will tell me beforehand. Whereas my own African brothers and sisters, I have to tell them the event is 2 p.m. when the event is actually 6 p.m. to leave that time. So if they disappoint, at least there's time. Like, what are some of the things? Why do we think people say this? And how can we change this? Because for us, it's extremely important. And we also, again, research, survey, we spoke to a lot of people, like, why do you say these things? And I've seen someone talked about customer experience. Even I am a living witness of that. The other day I was speaking to someone and I said to them, I wanted to, you know, offer, like, wanted them to provide a service to me. And they provided me an invoice. And they provided the invoice. I looked at it. I said, look, based on my budget, I would have to trim a couple of things down. This is what I want to do. Can you provide me a new invoice based on my new needs? And she said, this person provided me the new quote, the new pricing for the service. They sent it via WhatsApp. And I said, oh, you know, thank you so much, verbatim. I said, oh, thank you so much. Please, you know, I would like to have the invoice as well. I want the quote so I can record it because I need to record it. I want to see what it is. I want to see, that's our agreement. And this person literally told me, they won't be able to provide me any new quote for this service since they've provided it via WhatsApp. And I said, oh, look, I get it. I know you may be busy because even I was very desperate at that point in time. My event was very close. I really needed them to do the service and I don't want to go and have to speak to another new vendor. I said, okay, that's fine. I know that you're busy. Please, when you have some time, just send it to me. This person said, actually, I will not have the time to prepare you another invoice. If WhatsApp invoice is not enough for you, then perhaps we shouldn't go through with the service again. And in my mind, I'm like, oh my goodness. I literally left the chat because I was lost for words. I didn't literally have no words to say because how do you explain this? Customer relations. So if you're thinking to go to business right now, we need to always customer first. Treat people the way you want to be treated. And I want to believe that we all want to be treated with respect. And I wasn't even asking for respect from this person. Just do your work. That's all I asked for. Just do your work. Provide me an invoice based on our new agreement. So again, questions to us in the house. When you're on this journey to entrepreneurship or business or whatnot, or you people already in business right now, how do you treat your customers? Every single day, remember, you also contribute to the, oh, it's an African business, I will not do that. At 𝐂𝐻𝐍𝐶, a lot of people say to us, oh, look, when I heard, you know, it's Nigerians taking the classes, it's Nigerians teaching you, I was skeptical at first. And that's valid because of their experience. And I always say to them, please tell me, you know, what caused the skepticism. And it is always, you know now, you know the way we do. Maybe they will not show up. Maybe they'll collect our money. Maybe they will do this. A lot of people say that. And post our interaction with them, I get a lot of comment, and some of them are on this call that can testify to that. That I couldn't tell you some of my concerns, but coming on board and seeing the depth of the quality that you guys offer, it's changed my perspective. So you need to see yourself as a change agent after this session. How do I contribute to it's an African, I will not buy from that person? Obieze touched on, he spoke about like treating customers. How do you treat them? And he said something that I picked. I said, check in with client. I love that, because the center of what we do is checking with you. You come to Sync Skills, you want to train, you want to do this. I acknowledge people can get pregnant, people may not be in a position to go on with the training for XYZ reason, personal reasons. We give you some time. You always have an opportunity to come back when you're in a better frame of mind. So don't think about it. I'm just selling a service to you, whether you take it or not, whether you show up or not. That's it. Welfare, we do emotional intelligence. Right, so it's extremely important. But I really thought it was really important that we touched on this. Oh, someone in the comments said it's about affordability as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you must factor that into the business. That's why we said you must know, again, research what you want to go into. You must charge your price at the price point that you'll be able to provide value. It's the keyword is value. You can do a affordable product that provides value, but if you calculate cost of goods, service, and everything, your own input and everything, it must make sense for your business. So you don't compromise every other thing that is important to run a business. For us, like Tyra has already brilliantly said, some of the issues we've seen is that we don't implement the earthquake model. What do I mean by that? You must go into a business and say that even if I am sick, or my family members are sick, or there's an earthquake happening, this service that I provide must still get to the customer one way or the other. So that's what we say business continuity plan. So, and if you don't have that mindset, you will not structure your business that way. Appreciating that many of the business are one-man business, one-woman business, that is fine, but you must have business continuity plan. What do I mean in practice? There are some people you go and explore their service, they'll tell you, oh, I actually fell sick, then that's why I was late, or I couldn't deliver, I'm sorry, my children got healed, or I had flu, or I had this and that, forgetting that the customer expects you to deliver value, whatever the case may be. Whatever the case may be. Even if an earthquake is happening, you should still provide that service. And you must think broadly about what are the things I need to put in place in my business so that even if I'm not there, this service can still be delivered to the customer in a satisfactory way. If you don't do that, then you don't have a business. You must factor in that risk. It's not just the product people buy, they buy the experience.
absolutely.
Because they can buy the product anywhere. When they come to you, it's based on trust and emotion. So it's logic and emotion. Everything must connect. So you must make people feel the best way they should. Trust me, even if people don't get like there's a way you treat people, they will just want to talk about your service to people. And that's what's very important. That's why if you go to restaurant, they will still thank you. Most restaurants, thank you. How was the food today? Things like it's part of customer service. But we would now be sharing some useful materials. If you want to get started, you can start your business today, as we've discussed. Start with validation. You can register it. And all of these issues you're rightly putting in the chat is about execution. So how are you going to execute that service and product? And that's where the difficulty lies. That's why part of why we said the idea alone is not useful until you start to implement. It's the execution, that execution. Operation, customer service, cash flow, finance, and delivery, fulfillment is the pillars of how you run a business. Thank you. Taya?
Absolutely. people don't buy the product alone, it's the experience that you give them. And I'm seeing a lot of comments, which is quite sad as well. And I'm really hoping that every single one of us can leave this session hoping to do things differently and really, really making our customer feel really, really great. I mean, if you can't deliver a service, let people know. Let them know often, like tell them, manage expectations. Not, I've been calling you and I say, sorry, guilt trip me. My baby is unwell. That's why, System. If you don't have a system in place, those things would happen. A lot of us today, informally, we have businesses that cannot run without us. That will not put you in a position to provide value. But thank you all so much. We're at time. So we still have a lot of things, really, really nice information packed in the slide, which we would share with you. But we've got a gift for you. So please, everyone, again, if I can get you to please grab your phone, we've got a voucher that we would like to give to, the lucky winner of this. And the exercise and the game is simple because these are useful resources. They are books, so you can buy the physical copy, or you can buy the digital copy as well, where you can buy like on Audible, you can buy the ebook and you can listen to them. But these books are game changer. I can assure you, they open your mind and they give you like perspective to a lot of things that you never even thought were, like things that you're thinking that is just normal thing. Those are things that they're gold and value. So please, I would like everyone to please take a picture of this again. If you could tag oloja_au, we would go into the pool of our tags and we would contact you to send you your voucher. So we've got 2 vouchers up that I'd like to give, one for Bunnings and one for Amazon. So it depends on your preference, but please, we really, really have absolutely enjoyed learning from every single one of you with your comments, that you said, with you spending your Saturday morning with us. I also saw King Spen share material in the slide, in the comment. Thank you so much. Very valuable. Thank you, Obiere, for sharing such a beautiful experience. And does anyone have any questions? If you've got any question, feel free to unmute your microphone. Let's have a quick chat in 1 minute so we can round this session. But thank you all so much. It's been absolutely amazing. Lovely seeing your face. I can see your face, EK. Thank you so much for turning on your camera. That means a lot. Does anyone have any question? Alrighty. Yes, we're at time. So if there are no questions, please, I would love to see your tags and we will just, drop from the pool and send across to you the voucher. Just a token and appreciation of your time with us on this beautiful Saturday afternoon or morning, wherever you are. And to all of our people overseas, from Nigeria, from New Zealand, from the UK, thank you all so much for dialing in. It absolutely means the world to us, that you decided to take away from some of our experiences. Please, let's keep it rolling. Please, we wanted to showcase Oloja Hub and show you guys. If you're still here, Noah, did you want to do that very quickly? Or if anyone was still interested. Okay, who is that? Gania. Gania. Yes.
Keep quiet.
Please go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, I saw a question on the chat now.
Okay.
And I think I have that same question too, but it's not answered yet.
Sorry, what was the question?
The cost of material in Australia is expensive. And when you factor the cost of either trying to ship authentic materials from home, like how can you sustain it on the long run?
Really brilliant question. So when you talk about the cost of materials, I know that this is contextual, so I'm just going to give a general advice in terms of costing, in terms of what makes sense for the business, right? So it all starts from that beginning. What is my business model? How much do I need to run this business? What are the alternatives that is available? Then that would guide how much do I actually need to be charging to make this business a viable one? What type of investment can I put at this point in time? Because at the end of the day, you don't want to be in a business where you're sleeping at night and you don't know where the other resourcing for the next bit of activities would come from, right? So it all boils down to, I guess the first thing is really If I'm thinking about shipping authentic materials, it's a lot of money to me now actually delivering the service to the amount that I want to charge. The people that
Yeah.
would buy it, would they be in a position to pay for this? And what is my other, what are the options that is available to me?
Yeah.
No, go
Just
ahead.
on, oh yeah, thank. Just on top of that, that's a brilliant question, and that's the reality of things, right? And that's like Tyra said, first you need to know who are my customer, who do I want to deliver this to. So somebody said, oh, they prefer to go to Target, right, to go and buy product. Are you competing at the level of Target? Because if you want to do that, Target is like, everyday kind of clothing. If you compete that, you will just lose. And that's why your planning is important. For example, there are people that that they do fashion design, even back home, and they do it on a premium level. Right? There's this popular lady,
Vicky
Vicky
James.
James, right?
Yeah.
She's doing fashion, and some people may say, well, is it not just clothes? But she charges our customer at a premium, even running that business in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Now, and that's where you need to define exactly what model do I want to implement. Am I trying to do everyday kind of clothing? If you're trying to do everyday kind of clothing that the substitute is Target, came out type of thing, you're going to lose. Those are multiplayer. There's something they have buyer's power. They control supply. They manufacture those things on a wholesale. And somebody also said you employ people, they leave your work to go on a shift. The question is, why are they leaving to go on a shift? Are you paying them? Obviously, it's very clear in my mind.
Sorry,
The money they're going to pay.
sorry, Nora. I'm
Yeah.
gonna cut you short. I was the one that made that comment. And let me
Yeah.
just quickly just rephrase that, Chris. It wasn't somebody that you employed. You went for a service. You went to patronize a hairdresser for a service. And the person left your hair halfway
Yeah, now
to
that's
go for a
about
shift. And
that,
also, secondly, with regards to talking about the Target and clothing and all that, I'll ask you, Noah, when was the last time you wore an African outfit apart from any event you have?
oh, actually, it does
So,
vary every
that
time.
is, yeah,
so okay. So
yeah.
if you're looking at the percentage of people that will really rock an outfit, again, the weather also is of a disadvantage for you. So you
Thank
see, you
you.
will really get more,
Thank
market in
you.
that regard, apart from occasion. Now you're talking about everyday outfit. So if you want to
Yeah.
think about everyday outfit, which you know that people cannot easily wear, because Australia in terms of fashion, they're very easy in terms of their fashion sense, right?
Yeah.
And maybe you're thinking about infusing like a touch of Africa. And because now you factored in the cost of materials and all that into that outfit, and maybe let's say you want to make a tracksuit with a touch of African print, and they are charging like some few dollars, the person will be like, okay, I might as well just go get one Target tracksuit, chain a tracksuit. So it's just finding that balance. Like the ideas are good, but then that balance, that affordability,
So
so that you
that
can penetrate the real market you
you
need.
said it brilliantly, and that's what we're saying. Now, that is the reality of the space you want to operate. Now, the question, you know this industry well.
Alright.
You know
Yeah,
that the wearing culture, the fashion culture, the
it's different.
environment, that's why we said business environment,
Yeah.
is different. The kind of way you can easily access labor in Nigeria, which is what I was trying to say about somebody leaving. But thanks for also clarifying that you are the customer in that setting, right? But the cost of labor here is different from the cost of labor in Nigeria,
Nigeria.
for example. And even the customers, there's no high demand for that kind of product in this context, because
Yeah.
again, you've already nailed it. Most people averagely, they would wear native occasionally on Sundays. I love to wear some. Tayo will say, you wear native too much and all of that. But even I am not wearing native now, right? But
Exactly.
whereas in Nigeria, I might be wearing native even for this kind of event, for example. Now, the point of all of this is you now have a deeper understanding of your customer behavior.
Exactly.
Now, if you still want to play in this space, the question you want to ask, do I want to play at the basic level, or I want to stand as a premium brand?
Yeah.
Do I want to say, okay, only people that are doing wedding, I would create your brand, like then you would be able to tell a story of how you differentiate, right? I gave an example of 𝐂𝐻𝐍𝐶𝐄𝐓. If you want to wear everyday and bare clothes, and you have like 50K, you're not going to go to her because even if she's making you native, she's not going to accept that, right? That's not the level. You go to your level, right? That is where you now say, okay, what can I do to differentiate against all the competitors, all the people that do fashion design in Australia? What are they doing well? What can be improved? What would make my own product premium in this space that people will say, wow, if I go to Nina Wears, you're talking premium now.
Different.
You go there only when you want to do special occasion. And now you need to now know that, well, in that case, I'm talking about maybe 1% of the population, right? But you're happy with that because if you make 10 sales, it's better for you than having 100 people. That is the way you want to, just like if you know Rolex, right? Rolex watch. If you want to get Rolex, you need to be on a wait list.
Pre-order. Yeah.
There's scarcity in business. There's one thing called scarcity, right? So you pre-order, you join a wait list for many, many months. They will now make that for you if you qualify. Do you see? So imagine you can get the value of your product to a place where people have to qualify. In fact, people have to join wait lists ahead, book you, where you say, I don't just make product. You come to my studio, you give them experience. You come to my studio, just go have a look of 𝐂𝐻𝐍𝐶𝐄𝐓 and see the kind of stuff. Then that way, if you employ labor here, it will stack up because you're not now charging normal stuff that Target are charging. If I'm going to Nina and I have a special event, I want to differentiate class. I want to wear Nina brand, and that is the brand, premium brand. So when I go there and I employ people and I'm paying them more than, I'm talking about the context of workforce now, and I'm paying them more than what they will go and earn if they want to go and do shift or whatever, right? Then they will not leave, right? So, and that's it. But the other part where you pay African business, they tell you I'm going for shift, is the problem we're trying to talk about. The other end, what experience? Now, that's a bad experience for Nina. Nina wants her hair. You're now telling Nina that, well,
I've resorted to be doing my hair myself, DIY.
You see?
In fact, I look homeless. That's why I'm not turning on my camera. I'm thinking of who is going to make my hair because we have a New Year festival coming up. I can't even think of one person.
Yeah. So we can all be a part of that change. Very, very important. And Nina, like I know that there's a lot because I think you and I spoke we spoke a while ago.
Yeah.
But it's always very, it's not a one size fits all. I don't want you with that mindset of Africans won't buy, they can't patronize it if I charge this. No, they're not. So they're simply not your target market. So again, going back to the analysis, I've carved out who is my niche, who are the people that I want to sell to, and what makes sense for the business. But I'll market your product to me and let's see. Let's see.
Okay, I'm just like thinking where I can get affordable fabric because I've gone to the Spotlight here and they're pretty much very expensive. I've not even finished factoring every nitty-gritty. And again, I don't even get to see most of the things I need to use. Let's say I want to make a concentric. And I'm like, what the hell? So I want to make an outfit for my next series. I can't even find what I want to make.
That's the thing we're saying. Maybe you don't need to look for affordable outfit. Maybe you need to actually look for a different market.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about myself. Getting
for yourself.
Something for myself. Even make an outfit, basic outfit for myself. I can't find what I can resonate with in the stores around. So
exactly.
Now I'll not fall back to either. Okay, maybe I'll just look for one of my old outfits, but I'll construct something with what I'm seeing here.
Yeah.
Mimi, I think Mimi wanted to add additionals before we end the session. Thank you so much, Nina. Always really great to hear from you guys.
Thank you so much.
I was just going to say back to what you
you both have mentioned about validation. So I'm speaking to someone about I spoke to like some business owners, and I was talking to them about like, oh, how Nigerians won't patronize if you're doing a business, blah blah blah. And I got to know like when someone is starting a business, you don't just like limit your customers to like maybe Nigerians or this or that, because at the end of the day, what I got to know is that more Africans from like even Liberia or Sierra Leone or Congo are like better of like getting your stuff than even Nigerians, because and those people they've been here for a long time, like they are well
Yeah.
settled. Unlike a Nigerian who is on a student visa and you're expecting them to come and make braids or sew clothes for $250 and all that. So I think like
Exactly.
people should not like
Again,
limit themselves to like just Africans, just Nigerians or Africans. There are even
Yeah.
some Australians that want to braid. Australians will braid for $750. They are more than happy to braid their hair for $1,000,
yeah.
but a Nigerian
Yeah.
won't braid their hair for 1,000. So that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Again, that's
So
understanding your demography,
customer and
your
demography,
customers.
business environment, right? I love this conversation. I wish we had more time to,
Yeah.
to just dissect so
Unpack.
many things,
Yeah.
but it's true. You just need to know, okay,
Yes.
actually, this is my customer. These people are the people I need to go because they can pay me. Then when they pay me, to be enough to fulfill what they want and give
Yeah.
them the best experience in that place, right? But you can't also just say, I want to serve the whole world. I want to make it general, right? That's why we say you must know your ideal customer. You can't say, I will do clothes for everybody in the world from day one. Nobody trusts you. You will not be speaking to anyone that way. So you need to know exactly, your customer. It's very important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But very,
Yeah,
very brilliant conversation, team,
I
everyone.
love it.
Thank you so much for
yeah.
tuning in.
Okay.
Sorry, did I miss someone speaking?
Yes.
Oh, Ghanaian.
I know our time is fast spent, but what I want to chip in is like considering someone that is thinking of fashion business and
Yeah?
considering the demography and we all have our backgrounds and everything. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's okay for the person to kind of have a setup back home in Nigeria where she can get the materials and everything, have it
Mm,
designed in different ways, and then just chip it in. That can actually help reduce the cost of
mm,
production, and you can actually um, get better profit. So that is for goods that are not consumable. I
mm.
understand. For
Yeah.
someone
Yeah.
thinking of producing like um consumable product, I don't know how easy that is using that kind of a method and then bringing it in like a cooked one or like a processed
Yeah.
one, or not the dry foodstuffs and everything that we all get in the African stores. So
Yeah.
I don't know how that is actually visible producing back home and then shipping it in, because before you say you want to produce here, to get the machine, to get the site, to get the approval, all those things must be in place. Like I don't have like the detailed ideas of what it will take to actually have a company back home produce, like you have your recipe and everything, produce it and then just ship it in. Like probably
Yeah.
that is how I can focus on thinking it, but I don't really know how that is gonna work. If it's something that is acceptable here or not, because I think it's cost effective that way. Because like now, someone that wants to make her hair, I'm used to making my hair back in Nigeria for like, okay, when I was in school, I just go to the salon, pay 200 naira, and then I make my hair. I know we are earning more here, but that
Yeah.
doesn't mean you have to tell someone, okay, I can do the service for you, $250, and the person will be happy to pay. You'll be like, that instinct to tell you, can't I pay 2,000 or $200? That thing
Yeah.
is like, it's part of us. It's like something that is inbuilt. We're just trying to just leave it behind. You can't just do that all at once, but we're getting there, our generations or our children, they don't have that kind of orientation. So I don't think they'll suffer from that kind of a disease. So that's just like the main thing. When you look at the cost of materials of things here, actually,
It's discouraging.
you won't want to do anything. Like me back
Yeah.
in Nigeria, I have
I'd
a
rather
lot
go
of
for sheep.
skills and yeah. So the main thing is looking at that angle, like how is it possible? Like, is there a means? Like, is there like this is a problem? Like, is there a solution to make things easy? Probably
Okay.
if you actually have.
Yeah. So part of what we're trying to solve, and again, we don't have a lot of time, so we're so sorry. Please, we have
That's okay.
ended, but we don't want to keep people waiting. But yeah, just some tips, right? Part of what we're trying to do with Oloja Hub is also the education part. So
Yeah.
a couple of months ago, we went to Canberra and gave visibility about this product. We talked to MPs and all of that. We can all agree regulations is part of why African unique products are expensive because it's not easy to bring it in. Our
Exactly.
geographic, location is Australia is far from the rest of the world. It's difficult to start to ship things, especially perishable from you know, um, Africa back here, things like that. But at least we want to start to solve one of those problems about regulation. I'm sure many of us, when you bring African stuff, when you travel, you get to immigration, they will kind of like discard some of them. Oh, I don't know this. Part of this, if we start to register business, provide actual labels, registration, and credibility on this product, then all these MPs will know that, oh, this is actual African food that has authority in the market. All right, that ease of regulation is that cost of the regulation barrier and scarcity will start to be reduced. Now, geography is another thing. You've said one, for example, is it that's why we say you must do your market research and do the model that works. Is it profitable to actually start a business? Now you say you don't know how to produce that thing or how to get it off the ground in Nigeria. That's where you need to do the research. This thing, what is it I want to make? Who are the companies making it? Who are the customer using? What they like about this thing? Okay, what are the steps to register this? What is involved in fulfilling that product from manufacturing, everything perspective? Start to do that research. You will learn a lot of things to say, okay, I can then follow step one, step two, register the business. Okay, but the risk there is if there's no oversight in Nigeria and you're here, you are doing proxy stuff, it can be difficult in terms of quality and operation. So that's where you now need to look for, do I need a CEO or somebody to manage that process that has deep enough knowledge to manage that process when you even get to the stage of knowing how to start the business. Then that's why we say execution is very difficult. Idea first, everybody has idea. Execution, yeah, copy. You see why we say copy? Copy if it's easy, like they say, if it's easy,
Run
do
am.
I have beautiful ideas, but the execution is a lot of work. That's where you now have to. But when you start to validate, you will know how then do I position myself. You will know the pros and cons. We talked about strength and weakness. Hey, it's cost that will make me close my shop quick because of the consumer behavior. Maybe I should shift my hair business to Aussies because it's unique African stuff. I have my grandma here. When we're in the mall and she wears her African attire, oh my God, I'm always like, let's go, let's go. There's somebody saying, oh my God, you look
It's so
beautiful. Girl, I
beautiful.
love her.
That's it.
Oh,
But it
you know
ends there.
already.
Yeah, it ends there. Oh
Yeah.
my God, it
So
ends there.
you now need to look for how if I want to serve that market, how do I understand
Buy-in.
what they want? What actually makes them say, oh, it's beautiful, it's beautiful? And is it just it's beautiful they say? Will they pay for it? Right? Those are the things you need to factor in, those analysis to now say, is this worth a business or just let's keep it as it's
Just an
beautiful?
idea.
Right? So those analysis has to happen. Then you now have to factor in. Unfortunately, we can't engineer how to do, everything. But of course, you have our contact. We can jump on a call with you and say, let's validate. This is what you're thinking. I'm happy to have that conversation with you. So we're hoping for that. We can work out some things, and we teach again our courses. We do some of these things, and people have ideas like, oh, this is my business. Actually, that's what I'll go and use my business analysis skills to develop further, right? So I'm not actually looking for a job anymore. I'm going to use the skills I've learned to go and develop my business further, because I see the upside of it. There's always upside of business if you do it well. You can get financial freedom, you can be rich, all of those things, but it is hard. Sometimes you work 18 hours a day just because, like somebody was saying, all the workers you have gone for shift, like they've gone. Now, who has to deliver? If customer experience is critical for you, who has to do extra hours? You. So you now have to spend, maybe you don't now sleep, but to do it sustainably for a long time, you can't continue to do that unless you don't allow the business now kill you. So you have to have, but we're happy to take this conversation after. It's really rewarding that we all want to engage. I've learned a lot, and I'm sure that we'll be chatting again. So Mimi, Nina, Kania, thank you so much, everyone. If you want to engage, of course, you can reach out to us. We're happy to jump on a call with you and map out something together.
Thank you.
That's okay.
Please don't be closed-minded. I don't want you to just see the impossibilities. We need to always think about what are the other things. Okay, I don't just want us to be in that, well, they won't buy, they won't patronize, it's so expensive. Things are hard, but there's always a way out. So thank you all so much for riding with us. Really amazing conversation. Mimi, Banjo, Gideon, Sophie, Ayo, Celestina. Thank you all so much, Eddie, Jane, Norma. Really, really beautiful, spending it with us. If you want to ask any questions or you just want to have a conversation, want to take the conversation forward, by all means, please reach out to us and we'll be more than happy to sit down with you and troubleshoot, basically. But thank you all. We will end this session now and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Thank you. Bye.